Hi there! In this video, I'm going to be doing another gouache painting. Probably pushing it because I liked the last one I did so much, there's no way I can realistically pull off another one that I'm just as happy with right after, but I'm going to try. I'm mixing up some colors here from the leftover paint I have on my palette and doing some swatches, because it seems like there's still so much left, it feels wasteful to wash it out. The gouache I'm using is the Himi Jelly Gouache Paint Cup set, and I do like it. I don't own nor have I used any other type of gouache, but this stuff does dry out over time. I'm gonna try to see if I can find some way to keep that from happening. If you have any suggestions, please let me know. I've got a couple ideas. The good thing about this paint is that you can just add some water and mix it back up to its original ooey gooey form. So for this gouache painting, I'm going with the theme Cozy because it's actually for an art competition that Applemint is hosting on her Discord. I had this sketched up about a week ago, and then I started painting it Tuesday night, and the deadline was Wednesday night. So I was cutting it close. It's a girl snuggling up with her cat, and they have a blanket over their heads. I thought it was a cozy, cute idea. I'm using the same technique as last time of putting down the color with one brush and then pulling the color out with a clean wet water brush. I did notice a bit of a difference compared to my last painting, mainly I think because I'm using a different watercolor paper. For my lilac painting, I used the oh so holy Arches 100% cotton watercolor paper, and for this I'm using Canson XL watercolor paper that is not 100% cotton and considerably cheaper. It's definitely true that you don't need expensive supplies to make great art, but I think there's a small exception when it comes to watercolor paper. I didn't think I had gone over it that many times, but the paper was starting to pill up, or like disintegrate, I guess. Little pieces were rubbing off right around the right side of her face, our right, her left. I gotta say, I think her hair is my favorite part of how this painting turned out. I actually remembered to leave a bit of white to shine through for the highlights, and oh my goodness, you know what? I am just now realizing, as I type out this script guide, I used no white gel pen in this artwork. No gel pens at all, actually. Wow. Anyways, starting on the cat, I had a couple different references I was looking at for pattern inspiration, and I was initially trying to mimic the look of my cat, Kiki, but it didn't really come out that way. I've also never painted a cat before, so there's that. After the stripe thing wasn't working for me, I ended up painting more of a blotch-like pattern, which I was really liking and happy with, but I think I painted the fur a little too thick, like the individual strands. La 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 la. By the end, you can't even see the beautiful blotchy pattern, and I had kind of forgotten about it until I was rewatching the footage, so trying to build up more color on the face was a bit frustrating, but I really do think it has to do with the paper. I've always had issues with this paper. I'm sure user error still applies in some way, but it can't be a coincidence that I end up happier with paintings I do on Arches and less than satisfied with Canson. I believe the price difference is justified. Let me know in the comments, what kind of paper do you make your art on? Do you have preferences? Of course, it's most practical to use what's available or the most affordable, which is why I'll most likely still buy and use Canson paper. I'm hoping as my skill increases, there will be less mishaps. We shall see. When I was painting this, I was really happy with the way it was looking as far as the facial features and the composition and everything. It reminds me a bit of Bailey J's style. The character's face anywhere, I absolutely cannot compare this kitty to her masterpieces. But it's the craziest thing. After finishing this painting and taking pictures of it, I all of a sudden see that her right cheek is too wide. Like it comes out behind the cat's head farther than it should in comparison to her other cheek. And that is so frustrating because that's the whole reason I do my sketches digitally, is to be able to easily correct the proportions until they look right. But I guess they did then, and now once it's finished, because of course, I notice it's off. I was also annoyed, yet aware at the time of painting, that her right eye was bigger than her left, and I tried my best to use the makeup look to try to make them appear closer to the same size. But if you hadn't noticed it until I said something, you're welcome. Overall, I am happy with how I've progressed in human anatomy. Maybe someday I'll do a sketchbook tour, even though I don't have any that are completed because I jump around in them. But you should see how my face drawings looked when I first decided I wanted to start drawing. Ugh. I had started out with watercolor as a base color for the blanket and then went back in with gouache to make the tones a bit bolder. I do realize that I'm not using gouache the way I believe it's intended. I ended up using it more like watercolors by watering it down. But I guess there's not really a wrong way to use an art supply as long as you're happy with how your art turns out. I'm trying to slowly work my way up to using less and less water with the gouache as I get more comfortable with it. I plan on doing some more acrylic paintings on canvas very soon, and since with acrylics you use barely any water at all, I'm hoping that will help. here is the final painting for the theme Cozy. I think it's really cute and I'm happy with it. Let me know in the comments what you think and what you'd like to see from me in the future. Make sure to click the thumbs up button if you enjoyed this video and the red subscribe button to subscribe to my channel if you want to see more artsy videos from me. Click the bell icon and set your notifications to all so YouTube lets you know every Monday when I post a new video. Thanks so much for watching. Bye guys!